All right, so are you ready to dive into this one?
Always up for a deep dive, especially when it's something as popular as The Secret.
This book, The Secret by Rhonda Byrne, it was huge E, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely a cultural phenomenon.
Claiming to reveal this universal law for manifesting anything you desire.
Like a one-size-fits-all for success and happiness.
From fame and fortune to, yeah, even the perfect parking spot.
You name it, The Secret says you can manifest it.
It's a bold claim for sure. So we're going to see if it holds up to scrutiny.
Let's break it down.
So the book calls this universal law the law of attraction.
And it boils down to this idea that, attracts.
Okay, we've all heard that before.
Right, but The Secret takes it a step further.
It's not just about magnets or, gravity.
It's about our thoughts, having this magnetic power to draw things into our lives.
Wait, so you're saying my thoughts can actually influence my reality?
That's the core premise of The Secret.
Okay, so I'm picturing myself with a giant antenna on my head, beaming out all my desires.
You know, it's funny you say that, because the book actually uses the analogy of a transmission tower.
No way.
Yeah, each of us is like a walking transmission tower broadcasting our thoughts.
And those thoughts are attracting matching experiences.
Exactly. So what you're thinking and feeling is basically sending out a signal to the universe.
Okay, but is there any scientific evidence to back this up, or is it just like wishful thinking?
Well, the book delves into quantum physics a bit, which can get pretty complex.
Yeah, I'm not a physicist.
But on a more relatable level, think about negativity bias.
Negativity bias.
Yeah, our brains are wired to focus on the negative.
Oh yeah, I can definitely relate to that.
So if we're constantly dwelling on what we don't want, like debt, illness,
We're actually amplifying those vibes and attracting more of the same.
you got it. The Secret calls this the don't want epidemic.
Which makes sense, right? We focus on what we lack and then wonder why it keeps happening.
Exactly. And it's not just about money, it applies to relationships, health, everything.
So basically, we're unintentionally manifesting our own problems.
It's a bit like that, yeah.
Okay, so if I catch myself spiraling into, I don't want this, I don't want that, what's the antidote?
That's where intentional thought comes in.
Okay, so instead of dwelling on the negative, I need to shift my focus to what I do want.
Exactly. And it's not just about fleeting thoughts, it's about cultivating that feeling of already having what you desire.
So it's not just thinking it, it's feeling it too.
Precisely.
But feelings can be so fickle. Some days I wake up feeling like I can conquer the world. Other days, not so much.
I hear you, but that's where it gets even more interesting.
How so?
The book suggests that our feelings are actually feedback from the universe.
Feedback.
Think of it like your internal GPS.
Okay.
Good feelings mean your thoughts are aligned with what you want.
And bad feelings.
Those are a sign that you need to adjust your course, change your thinking.
So it's like my feelings are guiding me toward or away from my desires.
You could say that, yeah?
That's pretty powerful stuff. But how do we actually put this into practice?
Well, The Secret outlines a 3-step process.
3 steps.
Ask, believe, receive.
All right, so step 1 is ask.
You got it.
And that's where we get clear about what we want. No more vague wishing and hoping.
Exactly. Define your desire, make it specific.
Got it. Ask. But what about believe? Does that mean just blind faith?
It's more about cultivating the unwavering conviction that what you've asked for is already yours, even if you can't see it yet.
So act as if it's already happening.
You got it.
Okay, so how do we do that?
Visualization is a powerful tool.
Like creating a vision board with pictures of my dream house?
That's one way to do it, but The Secret emphasizes engaging all your senses.
Not just sight.
Right. Imagine yourself driving that dream car. Feel the leather seats, smell that new car smell.
So I'm basically tricking my subconscious into believing it's already happening.
You could say that, and this is where receive comes in.
The 3rd step.
Yes, this is about embodying the emotions of already having what you desire.
Okay, so feeling the joy, the gratitude, the excitement as if it's already mine.
Exactly. Remember, feelings are powerful attractors. They amplify the signal you're sending out.
Okay, so ask, believe, receive. It sounds deceptively simple.
It can be, but it also takes practice and consistency.
I bet. And I'm curious about the real-life examples. Does The Secret offer any proof that this actually works?
Oh, it does. There are some pretty amazing anecdotes in there.
Like what?
There's one about someone manifesting a specific feather with unique markings.
A feather?
Yeah, just by visualizing it.
Okay.
And 2 days later, they found the exact feather outside a building in New York City.
Wow, that's wild. And I've heard about people using this for, like, everyday things, too.
Oh, absolutely.
Like finding parking spaces.
Exactly. David Shermer talks about that in the book.
So if it can work for a parking space, why not bigger things?
That's the idea, right?
Yeah.
If you can manifest a parking space, why not a promotion or even your dream vacation?
Makes you wonder what else is possible.
Exactly. But now that we've laid the groundwork, let's get into the nitty-gritty.
Yes. Let's talk about how the secret applies to specific areas like money and health. Because I think that's what people are most curious about.
Absolutely. And that's where things get even more interesting. Welcome back. So we're picking up where we left off, right?
Yeah, we've covered the basics of the secret.
Law of attraction, that whole transmission tower thing.
Right, our thoughts attracting experiences.
Exactly. So now let's dive into the practical stuff.
The areas where people really want to see results.
Like money, health, relationships.
Let's talk money first.
Okay, so can the secret really help us attract more wealth?
That's the million-dollar question.
Pun intended.
But seriously, can we really think our way to riches?
Well, that's what the secret claims.
And what does it say exactly?
The message is focus on wealth, not on lack.
Okay, so no more stressing about bills or feeling broke.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
Shift your mindset from scarcity to abundance.
So instead of thinking, I can't afford that, it's, I can afford that.
Exactly. Bob Proctor, one of the experts in the book, talks about that.
Retraining our minds to expect abundance.
Right. And visualization is a big part of it, too.
Oh yeah, picturing yourself living the lifestyle you desire.
Feeling financially secure, having fun, managing your money.
So not just daydreaming, but really feeling those emotions.
Exactly. Joy, gratitude,
And
freedom.
tricking your brain into believing it's already happening.
You could say that and it can have a real impact.
The book has stories about people who've done this right.
Tons of them. Rhonda Byrne herself shares how she saved her company from financial ruin
Just by changing her thoughts.
by shifting her focus from scarcity to abundance.
That's pretty powerful stuff.
It shows how our thoughts can influence our reality.
Even when it comes to something as tangible as money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's not just about wishing or hoping.
It's about actively aligning your thoughts and feelings with what you want.
And taking inspired action, of course.
Right. Action aligned with your goals.
It's all connected: thoughts, feelings, actions.
Okay, so we've talked about money. What about health?
Another big one, right?
Can we really think ourselves well?
That's a question that sparked a lot of debate.
I can imagine.
The secret argues that we can improve our health by focusing on perfect health.
So no more dwelling on every ache and pain.
Right. Instead, focus on feeling vibrant and healthy.
Cultivating gratitude for our bodies.
Exactly. Shifting your attention from what's wrong to what's right.
Okay, I can see how that could be beneficial.
It's about aligning yourself with a more positive frequency.
But what about serious illnesses?
That's where it gets tricky.
Yeah, can the secret really help with things like cancer or chronic pain?
It's important to approach this with caution.
Right. It's not about denying reality.
Exactly. The secret doesn't claim to be a cure-all.
And it's not suggesting that positive thinking alone can overcome serious medical conditions.
Absolutely not. It's about integrating these principles alongside conventional medicine.
So it's more about supporting our healing journey, not replacing traditional treatments.
Right. And recognizing that our thoughts and emotions can play a role in our overall well-being.
I see what you mean. So it's not about ignoring medical advice.
Not at all. It's about taking a holistic approach.
Mind, body, and spirit.
Exactly. And the secret does acknowledge that sometimes things just don't go our way.
Even when we're doing everything right.
Right. It encourages us to see challenges as opportunities for growth,
And to trust that there's a higher purpose at play.
even when we don't understand it.
That's where faith comes in, right?
You could say that.
Believing that things will work out in the end.
And that ties into another key concept from the book, gratitude.
Gratitude.
The secret emphasizes the importance of cultivating an attitude of gratitude,
Even when things are tough.
especially when things are tough, because when we focus on what we're grateful for,
We shift our perspective.
exactly, and that can open us up to new possibilities and solutions.
So even if things are challenging, we should still try to find things to appreciate.
Absolutely. Gratitude is a powerful emotion
It shifts our energy,
and helps us align with a more positive frequency.
which can then attract more positive experiences into our lives.
Exactly. It's like that saying, what you focus on expands.
If we focus on lack and negativity,
Yeah.
that's what we attract more of.
But if we focus on gratitude and abundance,
Even in the midst of challenges?
we open ourselves up to receiving more of those things.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
Money, health, gratitude, the power of our thoughts.
But I'm still curious about the criticisms.
Right, because The Secret has been hugely popular,
But it's also sparked some controversy.
and it's important to look at both sides of the coin.
So in part 3, we'll delve into those criticisms
Explore some alternative perspectives.
and see if The Secret really holds up to scrutiny. Okay, so we're back and ready to tackle the elephant in the room.
The criticisms of The Secret.
Right, because it's been praised and criticized, sometimes pretty harshly.
It definitely struck a chord with a lot of people, but yeah, it also ruffled some feathers.
And I can see why.
Oh, yeah.
Well, this idea that we create our own reality with our thoughts.
It's pretty powerful stuff.
It is, and I think it can be easy to misinterpret.
How so?
One criticism I've heard is that it can sound like The Secret is blaming victims.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Like if someone is struggling financially or has a health issue.
It's their fault because they haven't thought positively enough.
Exactly. And that completely ignores all the external factors.
Right, genetics, societal inequalities, access to resources.
Things people have no control over.
And that kind of thinking can be really damaging.
Especially for those who are already going through tough times.
It's important to acknowledge that life is complex.
It's not always as simple as think positive and everything will be perfect.
Right, there are so many factors at play.
So while it's empowering to know we have agency,
We also need to recognize the limits of that agency.
and another criticism I've come across is that The Secret oversimplifies things.
In what way?
Well, it takes these ancient spiritual concepts
Like the law of attraction.
and presents them in a very, I don't know,
Accessible way.
accessible, maybe even a bit too simplistic.
Like a quick fix for all of life's problems.
Right, but real spiritual growth is often about so much more than that.
It's about surrendering control, accepting what is, connecting to something bigger than ourselves,
It's a journey, not a destination.
and The Secret with its emphasis on manifesting desires.
It can sometimes overshadow those deeper aspects of spiritual practice.
It's important to remember that spirituality is multifaceted.
It's not just about getting what we want.
It's also about personal growth, transformation, and connecting to a higher purpose,
Exactly. And it's about being mindful of our intentions.
especially when it comes to material possessions,
Because it's easy to get caught up in wanting more.
and lose sight of what truly matters.
Connection, purpose, inner peace.
Those things can't always be manifested through visualization or affirmations.
Right, they require a different kind of inner work.
And another criticism is that The Secret can sometimes lead to spiritual bypassing,
Spiritual bypass.
using these concepts to avoid dealing with difficult emotions, like slapping a positive affirmation on top of deep-seated pain.
Right, but true healing requires us to face those shadows.
Work through those challenging emotions.
Not just try to think them away.
Exactly. Positive thinking is powerful.
But it's not a magic bullet.
It's not a substitute for therapy or doing the inner work.
So it's about finding a balance,
Using positive thinking as a tool for transformation.
but not as a way to avoid the messiness of being human.
Well said. I think that's a really important point.
So ultimately, it's up to each individual to decide how they interpret The Secret.
What resonates with them, what works for them.
It's not a one-size-fits-all approach.
And even if you don't fully embrace the law of attraction,
Or the specific techniques outlined in the book.
there are still valuable takeaways.
Absolutely. The power of our thoughts and feelings,
Yeah.
the importance of gratitude,
Those are timeless principles.
that can benefit anyone, regardless of their beliefs.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into The Secret,
What's the final takeaway?
well, it's made us think critically about the power of our minds.
The role our thoughts and beliefs play in shaping our reality.
It's a reminder that we have more agency than we sometimes realize.
But also that we're part of something much bigger than ourselves.
It's been a fascinating journey.
And I hope it sparked some new insights for our listeners.
Maybe even inspired some of you to try out a few of these techniques for yourselves.
Just remember to approach it with a critical mind and an open heart.
And most importantly, have fun with it.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into The Secret.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep believing in the power of your own potential.